All right, so we have one last unit to wrap up chapter 12, and this is going to be a pretty quick one, just a short little thing on selbst and selber. But first, let's go over the exercise from the end of the last unit. So werden in some more complicated situations. We have in der Zukunft werden wir nicht mehr arbeiten müssen. So the three verbs we're dealing with is werden and then arbeiten and müssen. So we have werden plus two infinitives actually, the modal verb and the main verb infinitive. So we know that we're dealing with a future because it's werden plus infinitive. And then not only is it the infinitive, the main verb, it's also a modal verb. So that translates to, in the future, we will not have to work anymore. So we will not have to work anymore. So arbeiten müssen, to have to work, and then of course is negative. So we will not have to work anymore in the future. In 10 Jahren werde ich mehr Geld verdient haben. So now this is that future past situation because we have the past participle and then helping verb haben that you would normally use this situation. Ich habe verdient. I have earned, right? Ich habe verdient. So we sort of have the past tense going on here at the end of the sentence, but then we pair it with the future to make the future that's talking about the past. So in 10 years, I will have earned more money. Will have earned. Werde verdient haben. I will have earned more money. Am Ende des Semesters wirst du die deutsche Sprache sehr schön übersetzen können, which is at the end of the semester, or you can say by the end of the semester, it's either is fine. You will be able to translate the German language very beautifully. So you will be able to translate. Du wirst übersetzen können, so will be able to translate. Yeah. So this isn't the this isn't really the this is a different situation. This is actually more like the first one than the second one, right? Because we've got the two infinitives at the end. It's a modal verb and an infinitive. So it's talking about the future, but we're saying you will be able to do that. It's not like you will have learned that. It's just you will be able to. It's just like talking about that future moment in time, not talking about like the past of the future. So this is just like the first one. The infinitive of the main verb plus a modal verb, infinitive of the main verb and the modal verb. At the end of the semester, you will be able to translate. Du wirst übersetzen können. Yeah. Das wird wohl der Fall sein, and this one is with wohl is a clue that it means probably, and so technically it means like that it has the future that will probably be the case. That's how it lines up. But in a sense, it also means that is probably the case. It's like, because we don't know right now, that's why we're using the word wohl, because it's probably, we don't know exactly. So by the time we find out, that will be what we find out, and then that will be the case, but it will refer to the present. In the present, that is probably the case. And we will find out later. Yeah. So das wird wohl der Fall sein. I think both of these are fine translations. I guess the is probably is slightly better, but I don't have a problem with this translation. That will probably be the case. Because I think we do this in English as well. I think that I think it's not unheard of to use this sort of thing in English. But you can of course observe native English speakers and see if that happens. But I'm pretty sure that this means a very similar thing in English. This is why I think both of those are fine. So Gregor Samsa wird zu einem Ungeziefer. This, of course, will be familiar to you if you know Kafka's Die Verwandlung, the Metamorphosis. Gregor Samsa becomes an insect. So I want to use the werden zu. Wird zu is, of course, becomes into, which means if you like transform into something else, then that's one way to use werden. Yes. So that is from the first line of the Metamorphosis. It's not worded exactly like this, but it's the same idea. So then we have this unit, just one little thing left is the usage of selbst and selber. So we have selbst and selber. They are used to intensify or emphasize the meaning of a noun or pronoun. And the difference between selbst and selber is a little bit of a dialect thing. They're pretty much interchangeable. I usually use selbst. I feel that selbst is the standard one, and then selber is a little less common. So selbst is probably more of a northern thing, and then selber is a southern thing, but it's not a big deal, whichever. They mean the same thing. So when selbst or selber follows a noun or a personal pronoun, they translate as himself, herself, itself. So you can see selbst, self. So they come from the same word. If you go far back enough, selbst and self come from the same word. So that's why it's himself, herself, right? So der Professor wusste es selbst nicht. The professor didn't know it himself. So the professor knew it himself not. So what it's saying here is that when it comes after the noun, it's not immediately after the noun, but it's after it. When it comes after the noun, then it means himself, or it refers to whoever it was referring to before, and then you just match that up to the gender and number, himself in this case. So the professor didn't know it himself. Der Professor wusste es selbst nicht. And then we can try, haben Sie selber die Mitteilung der Forscher gelesen? Did you yourself read the researcher's report? So it's like, did you yourself read the report of the researchers? Or you could even say, have you yourself read the report of the researchers? So see how selber is right there after sie, and so that's the pronoun it refers to. It comes right after it. So this one, it comes a little bit after der Professor. This one comes right after, but it doesn't matter. It's still going to have the same translation. It's going to be self to match whoever it refers to. And then, das wird wohl nicht selbst gelesen haben. This combines some stuff we were talking about in the last unit as well. He probably didn't read that himself. So it's actually this, like, he will not have read it himself by the time I found out about it, right? So this one is past. So selbst gelesen haben, have read himself. So er is what it's referring back to. Selbst refers back to er, so that's why it's himself. So then we can contrast these ones where selbst come before whatever it is modifying. And then it has a translation of even. So you can say, even the doctors were mystified. Selbst die Ärzte standen vor einem Rätsel, which is like, even the doctors were standing in front of a puzzle, you could say. But Rätsel, a puzzle, or I guess a mystery, yeah. So a riddle is a good one, a Rätsel. So they were mystified, as in they were standing in front of a puzzle. So selbst die Ärzte, these constructions are pretty easy to recognize. When you have selbst plus a noun or a pronoun sometimes, then that's going to be even, and then whatever noun or pronoun. Selbst die Ärzte, even the doctors. And then selbst der Präsident wusste nicht, was das Problem war. Even the president didn't know what the problem was. So selbst is then even the president, selbst der Präsident. You could sort of compare them and flip them around, and you could say der Präsident selbst wusste nicht, and that would be like the president didn't even know himself, right? But it's a pretty similar idea. We can try with the next one. Selbst Kinder werden diese Erklärung verstehen. Even children will understand this explanation. It is also future. So even children, selbst Kinder. Yeah, so the meanings are related between these two, but yeah, it makes a big difference whether it comes after or before. These come after, and then these ones come before. So these are the easy ones to recognize, even, whoever, and then the other ones you have to sort of put it back together once you realize what's going on. Yeah, So there will be some of these in the Übungssätze and the practice exercises for the end of the chapter. So here they are in the in your vocab list, and then you'll find some of those in here as well. So those just have to be practiced in order to get them into your toolkit. So I wish you lots of luck on these. Und wir sehen uns im nächsten Video. I'll see you on Zoom, and I'll see you in the next video. Tschüss. Auf Wiedersehen.